Hi, my name is Greg Dunlap. I'm a senior programmer at Palantir.net, and I'm going to give a demo of the Deploy module. The Deploy module allows users to easily deploy and update content and configuration settings between servers. So as you can see here, we have a Drupal site with some information about Drupal books. In addition to your typical title and body fields, it's got some author and publisher information that are node references out to author and publisher content types, as well as some taxonomy terms, both real vocabularies as well as free tags. And then over here, we have a blank Drupal site with no data on it. So there are three pieces to making this front page happen. First, of course, is the content, the books, the authors, the taxonomy, etc. Secondly, there's a view that I've created that is set to only show published book nodes. And third is a site configuration setting which sets that view to be the front page of the site. So let's get started. First, we will add our book nodes to a deployment plan. A deployment plan is just a way to group data together that'll all be deployed at the same time. So here on the content administration screen, you can see that under update options, there is a choice add to deployment plan. So we'll choose our book nodes here and add them. You can see I've already created a deployment plan called front page, so we'll just save that. And there are our deployment plan items as they exist so far. Next, we'll go to the Views admin screen, and you'll see here we have a tab called Deploy. Similarly, you can choose the deployment plan you want to add your views to and choose which views you want to add. So we'll choose the Books view and add it to the deployment plan, and you can see it's now listed. And finally, we'll go to our site configuration, where you can see that the Books view has been added to be the default front page for our site. And there's an option here to add that to a deployment plan, which we'll do. Our settings are saved, and that's that. Now we need to push our plan live. This is the central area for deployment. In addition to the deployment plans we have created, we also have a list of the servers that are available to deploy to, a log of all of our past deployments, and your basic system settings form. So let's go back to the plans page and push our plan live. Here we can just click the push link, and we're given the option to choose what server we want to deploy to. And additionally, we need to enter the username and password for an account on that server which has the permissions to do whatever it is we're doing, creating nodes, adjusting system settings, creating taxonomies, etc. All deployments run under a user account so that Drupal's permissions are always respected. So I've got deploy user and a password, and all we need to do is click the magic button and we're off. So the first step is that all of the dependencies are checked for each of the items in our plan, and then these items are actually deployed. You'll notice that although we only had 5 items in our plan, we're actually deploying 29 items. That's because the dependency checking determined that in addition to our book nodes, we also had to deploy all of the nodes that the book's node referenced, all of the taxonomy terms for the nodes, all of the taxonomy vocabularies that those terms belong to, etc., etc., and get them all over to the blank site because they didn't exist there. And now you can see everything that was actually deployed. So in addition to the books, we've got our system settings and our views, but also our taxonomy vocabulary and all of the terms that were associated with the nodes, all of the author and publisher nodes, and then of course our book nodes. Had any of these items failed, the deployment would have halted and nothing else would have been pushed. This is to prevent broken dependencies. You don't want a node that refers to another node to try and be saved when the first node didn't actually get saved when it failed. So having executed our deployment, we'll go to the new site and reload. And as you can see, all of our data is in place and the front page of the staging site has been completely replicated. But there's more. In addition to deploying new things, you can actually update your content. So let's say that one of these books has gone out of print. So we can go in here and say, edit this node. Note, out of print. And save it. Now we'll go back to our content admin and look at a different way to push things live. In addition to using a deployment plan, you can also push things live on the fly by just choosing deploy from the update options. So we'll choose the content that we need to update. And now instead of going to the deployment plan screen, we just get this screen where we choose the server we want to deploy to, and again have to enter our username and password. You have to enter your username and password every time you deploy so that none of that information gets stored anywhere. And we're off again. You'll notice that this time we will only deploy the one item that we're pushing, because all of our other dependencies already exist on the remote site, so it doesn't need to push them again, and it's smart enough to figure that out. And if we reload over here, and there we are, you can see that our node has been updated. And that's it. That is our 2-minute run-through of the deployment module, and I hope that you found it interesting and useful.